Today we are celebrating Pentecost. Oftentimes it is referred to as the birthday of the church. Coincidentally, yesterday was Father Steve's birthday. Make sure on the way out of church you stop and wish him a belated happy birthday. In the readings today, I feel like I do on that second Sunday of a vacation week. You know, the Sunday before you return to work. You know what the feelings are. You've had a good time. The trip is concluded. The memories are fresh. But I realize that tomorrow I do have to return to work. And while I like my work, vacation is oh so much nicer. If that doesn't draw a fine enough picture in your mind, think of hosting a party. It might be your annual Christmas party, a birthday party, or maybe given this time of the year, a graduation party or a bridal shower. It becomes late in the evening, and your final guest has departed. The celebration was a huge success. The food was delicious, the drinks were refreshing, and the company was unforgettable. The songs were sung, and the dancing is done. Now it's time to roll up your sleeves and get to work. Seems like cleaning up from a party is always the hardest part. Because you see, there's always work following a period of celebration. Our church is in that period now. After 40 days of preparation, that being Lent, we have celebrated Easter for 8 weeks, in which we have laughed, we've lived, and we've loved. But like our party, there's now work to be done. Last week, if you were here, you heard Father John say that now that Jesus is gone from the earth and now sits in heaven with God, it's all up to us. As his followers, it's up to us to continue his work. Now, if you stop and think about it, that is a daunting task. You and I are supposed to continue the work that Jesus started. When I think of the enormity of this task, I become paralyzed with dread. It would be tantamount to me looking at you and saying, after Mass, I want you to go and dig a hole as big as the Grand Canyon. Left to your own devices and your own resources, this would seem impossible. And likewise, if we rely on our own abilities to continuing the work of Jesus, it would be futile, if not impossible. But let's look at the scenario. Assume that I tell you to go dig this hole, but I give you a fleet of heavy machinery, maybe thousands of bulldozers, hundreds of dump trucks, commercial backhoes, dynamite, and tens and thousands of miners to operate these machines. Your task of digging the Grand Canyon becomes a plausible goal. Not an easy one, mind you, but it is attainable. And it won't be done quickly. It'll probably take many lifetimes to even begin to come close. And remember, we're just digging a hole. The job of saving people's souls and helping them to reach paradise is such a more daunting task. There are always people to evangelize to because people are always being born, and there are several people you've never met. The salvation of souls is a never-ending job. However, given the correct tools, anything is possible. As St. Paul mentioned in his letter to the Philippians, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Well, today we are given those tools, and we are strengthened. In the readings from last week, we as a collective people were caught just staring up at the sky, just like the apostles, dreading our tasks because we didn't have the tools we needed to get the job done. I started my homily today mentioning that today is the birthday of the church. And what would a birthday be without a gift? Today is no exception. However, the strange part is that Jesus gives us the gift because we are the members of the church. We have been given the correct tools to be Christian. Without the gifts of the Holy Spirit given today, we would not be able to do the things that we're expected to do as Christians. The gifts of the Holy Spirit listed in our reading to the letter to the Galatian church are, but not limited to, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Now, all of these are wonderful gifts in and of themselves. But reflecting on the readings today, I discovered another gift that we have been given. This gift is so powerful that you could say it's dangerous. This gift has started wars, and this gift has also stopped wars. The gift that we have been given is language, and it was referred to in our first reading as tongues. Biblical scholars consider Pentecost as the fulfillment of the story of the Tower of Babel. I also find it ironic that the flames over the disciples' heads are described as tongues, the articulators of speech. Language is very powerful. Many of our young people have felt the scorn of mean words repeated over and over. This language hurts, it destroys, and is not the intent of the gift of language that we've been given. Language is also used for good. How many of you all remember these words and how they made you feel? President Kennedy asking us not what our country can do for us, but what we can do for our country. Dr. King telling us of his dream. President Roosevelt is telling us that December 7th, 1941 was a day that would live in infamy. And Neil Armstrong standing on the moon telling us that this is one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. The gift of language we receive in the gospel is not bereft of the gifts given by the Holy Spirit. Language is used to fulfill all the gifts of the Spirit within us. In the coming week and the coming weeks, use our language to express these gifts of the Holy Spirit. Bring joy to those you meet by speaking their names. Bring peace to our marriages by saying, "I'm sorry." Hold our tongue and show patience when you want to strike out at someone you think deserves it. Speak kind words to your friends and enemies alike. Be generous with your praises to your children. If you do not praise them, they will seek out others that will. Talk about your faith. Don't be shy about it. Profess it. People asking questions is the first step to leading them to Christ. Be gentle in your rebukes to all people. And finally, use your gift of language properly to build up instead of tearing down. You can see where I'm going with this. Use the gift of speech you've been given to help lead people to Jesus Christ and the salvation of heaven.